Cora, this one is for you. Samantha bought a home last year during that buying frenzy. Then the year before, remember how that was just crazy? Things flying off the market, 25 plus offers on a home, which in some cases still happening in certain priced homes right now. Her agent at the time told her one way to be at the top of the list for the seller to accept her offer was to waive a home inspection. Brad, you were heard about these types of
Oh,
things.
yes.
But now Samantha says that she's got a problem because several other types of problems with the house have popped up that a home inspection would probably have caught. So Samantha's parents are urging her to take the real estate agent to court since it was the agent's suggestion to waive the home inspection. I'm hearing more and more about this, Cora. Have you heard about it? And what would you suggest to Samantha in terms of how to deal with this type of a problem?
Well, Bob, I have to say that's quite the loaded question.
Yeah.
So let me unpack that just a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Certainly, I would never advise any of my real estate agents to encourage anyone to waive their inspection. I understand that last year's competitive market, and even to some extent, we may still see that now in certain experiences where it might lend itself conducive to eliminate contingencies in a multiple offer situation in order to get your offer accepted or to look more attractive. You're window dressing it for that seller to select. So certainly the fewer contingencies, the better in the seller's eyes. But there are a number of ways that they could have minimized that and still maintain their right to inspect. They could have allowed for the inspection but eliminated the contingency. Okay, they could have reduced the time frame in which to do so. A lot of inspectors, just like Brad's team, can be available very promptly for the real estate professionals. So do you need the full 10 days? Probably not. You can have that lined up when you make your offer, maybe just a 3-day window. You could still accomplish a competitive look and hopefully get your offer accepted, but not giving your right up to inspect. So I would never advise my agent to say that. Now, with that said, it concerned me that said the buyer is now experiencing problems with the house that may have been revealed by an inspection. So the attorney in me wants to say, wait, okay, let me take a look at that seller's disclosure. Because while the seller may have picked a contract based on a waiver of inspections, that does not eliminate their requirements under disclosure laws. So I would want to take a look at that seller's disclosure to see if a case can be made for non-disclosure or misrepresentation, if you will, and perhaps pursue some legal remedies there for the buyer to get some monetary damages to make those repairs that they perhaps would have requested had they had their regular inspection provisions, their normal inspection provisions to the contract.
So should this agent be concerned, I guess, what the final question here, whoever her agent was, that this could come back to bite her, the agent, and maybe other agents.
The concern is that they're saying it was the agent's recommendation.
Right.
Do not now is that, obviously, is that their interpretation of he said, she said? Did the agent say it's a contingency piece? And as we would train our agents, and as I've heard many of our own agents do, is they explain, this is what makes the offer look good. You still have the right to inspect. You always should inspect. Look at the disclosure report and use all those things to make an informed decision.
Yeah. But did she?
I know what I think, but Cora will tell us what
thoughts, Cora?
The legal mind. Yeah.
Sure. So from a legal mind standpoint, I mean, certainly you're looking at a number of issues, but you would want to unpack that fact pattern to see exactly, the she said, or whatever the case may be. So there's a complaint process. They could lodge a complaint with the KREC, which is going to be the licensing body, that they may or may not find sanctions against that licensee, but they would do an investigation to see if they did in fact breach licensing law or did not represent their client as they should. Also, though, a breach of fiduciary duty could lead itself to another type of legal claim against that agent. And so that would be, again, looking at the fact pattern to decide, did they breach any of the number of, we call it old car, Bob, if you remember that back from real estate school, number of the fiduciary duties that real estate licensee owes their clients.
Yeah.
So we want to take a look at that and see, based upon what truly was said or what can be proven that was said, and if there would be a claim against them. But I would not want to discount the ability to take a look at that seller's disclosure and still contact the seller for a contribution, because ultimately we want to help the buyer be able to make those repairs to the home that may be a safety issue, Bob, maybe some deficiencies that need to get solved relatively quickly. So contacting an attorney to take a look at their remedies is always going to be a good, useful choice in that instance.
And the owner of the new home has a year from when they should have known about it, right? She's shaking her
Absolutely,
head.
Bob.
Yep,
So it's
yep.
not necessarily a year from when they closed, but a year of when they discovered.
Right.
So if they discover, let's say, I'm going to use the M word, we're going to say mold. They discover a mold issue on year 2, then they would need to bring that action within a year from that time of discovery.